You never
All
know.
right. You never know. It is Wednesday night, and we are unfiltered and unhinged here. I have two amazing ladies with me. Jennifer, who you guys probably remember because she probably said something that you would remember, and our new friend, Savannah. And we are
Hello.
just out here, we're just having girl night. That's what we're doing, and grateful that you guys can be a part of it. So, Jennifer, what has been going on with you?
Same old, just working. Um, had a few hiccups. The power just got restored at the house after a tree fell. You know, um, my brother got it restored pretty quick, him and his family. So, you know, God just restores everything really quick in my life these days. So,
The tree just fell in your house, or what
no, it
happened?
was the neighbor's tree. Thank you, Jesus. But um,
Mm.
it fell directly onto the power lines, and everybody's power in the neighborhood went out. I was cooking
Oh
tacos last night. I didn't even get to put the taco seasoning on. So,
Oh no.
yeah.
man, that is a bummer. Well, glad it got restored and quickly. And so you brought Savannah into our fun show.
Yes.
So Savannah, do you want to tell everyone a little bit about yourself? I'm just sharing this out to my people here.
Yeah, so my name's Savannah, obviously. I've been sober for almost 2 years in October. I have three daughters. Currently I'm going to night school. I'm trying to get my degree in stenography and I work full time. So my schedule is packed, but I'm so grateful to be sober and just my life in the past 2 years has changed dramatically. So, yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Awesome. We have what's this? Two privacy, please. One, two, three. Two peeps, zero show. Nope. There's three of us. There's three of us here. Privacy, please. How are you doing tonight? Um, so yeah, we just kind of wanted to talk about life in general. Kind of what it's like being a woman in long-term recovery. What that looks like, different topics. Jen, are you still single?
So I have been engaged to a guy that is incarcerated at the moment. We've been talking for like 3 months. More to be revealed.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. He's been incarcerated for 21 years.
Oh, wow.
Um, he is a strong man of God, like really religious, kind of. He's really religious. But yeah, we're gonna see where that goes.
Nice.
Wherever
I'm.
God it, it's
Yeah,
God
that's
thing.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Absolutely. We love our men of God. I'm still single. Surprise. I've had a couple run through, but not run through like that, but
Oh.
Not road through.
But
There's
no,
great.
nothing to stick. Nothing to stick. Nobody, you know, you know. So yeah. Dating out here is crazy. Brittany said single life, love it. Yes.
That's
It
how
is.
I was just telling my brother a minute ago, before we started this, how I'm just like, I don't think it's for me anymore. I just don't like being told what to do or questioned. It's, I don't know, the ascension for that year, um, sleeping alone and being made to to not
Oh,
being around,
yeah.
like that really stuck with me. Um,
Mhm.
they instill it in you really hard that you do not need a man for anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, I'm like, who are you? Like, if you're not my brother, my brothers, then I'm not gonna listen to you. That's pretty really how I feel. Um,
I Yeah, I mean, if they're not like paying your bills or parenting your child, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying paying all the bills, you know what I mean? I'm not like one of those, but at least like,
Contributing to your life.
contributing something somewhere. So now, okay, so Savannah, you have been with your child's father for 7 years. Your 6-year-old, you said son or daughter?
Yeah, so I have a daughter. She's 6. Her name's River.
Oh, cool.
But
That's
yeah,
a cool name.
me and her. No, thank you. Yeah, we've been together off and on for 7 years. So we had to kind of remash things up after I got out of my program. I mean, we love each other a lot, but there was a lot of toxic. We just weren't healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And like what Jennifer was saying, like with that year of me sleeping alone, like I really idolized Nick because I loved him so much. But when I did go, because I went to the women's extension, I really separated myself and kind of found myself without him. And I'm like, I can do this, but we do love each other a lot. So we made it work. I'm really thankful for that. We've been through a lot. So I'm thankful for how everything turned out. But yeah, I think that was really important. Like for myself, I had to learn how to love myself before I could love him. And I think it went both ways. So, and I mean, we still have to work on things. Like we got into an argument last night and we both shut down. But then, just small things. But I had to call him this morning because we are used to like that toxic behavior and like, we have to set those boundaries because we can't keep doing the same cycles if we want different outcomes. You know what I mean? So it's crazy, so yeah, it's cool though.
Communication is key. So that must have been like really hard, kind of like being away at first, especially if you kind of have like those toxic things because you almost have to like detox from your bond and you feel like you're like, it's like a drug. And then like after you kind of start like feeling good and you're like, oh, like, and it's almost the cool thing about that is like when you get healthy, they tell us like in the rooms, the first time I heard like 2 halves don't make a whole, right? So you want to have like 2 healthy whole people who are choosing to be together, not because they're trying to fill a void in one another.
Exactly. And I think that's what solidified our relationship after that. Once I was able to get healthy, I'm like, I don't need you. I want you though. And that's what I had to find in myself, that I was wanting to be with him because of the filling the void and all of these things. And I did passionately love him for who he was. He's a great person. But when you're broken, you can't expect to, it doesn't work like that. So I had to find my own self. And so, yeah, I think that's made our relationship stronger pretty much, was just because of that whole experience. Like, I don't know, it's still a learning process, that's for sure, but it's good.
That's awesome. That's amazing. And you'll have an amazing testimony. I feel like, to come.
Thank you.
So Brittany says, I'm so scared today. I don't think I'm built for it after all I've been through. Like, I'm good doing what I want, having my own space, time, bed, and no stress on not trusting or questioning. I'm only 17 months clean, so I'm not ready after a horrible narcissistic husband of many years. Yeah, I'm good. And Brittany, why do we go after narcissists? Why? Like, why? What is wrong with us? Why do we do this? Because we like that dopamine toxic like hit, you know what I mean? I actually did go out on a date like last week with this guy who's like a normal guy, you know what I mean? And the date was very normal. And I was just like, oh, this is so different. You know what I mean? It was like normal conversation. Like it wasn't any like weird, toxic trauma bonding. You know what I mean? Like narcissistic stuff. Like he was like very healthy and whole and normal. And I was like, what is this? Had like nice conversation and he was like a gentleman and like I was like, oh, this is so different.
This is normal.
Well, when you change, when you want a different man in your life, right?
Yes.
Like men I'm used to are just I just look back and like, damn, why, Jennifer? Why?
Mhm.
I want a nerd. I want a book smart. I want a smart person that can just do stuff, and yeah, that's what I want.
Just as
Yeah.
normal as a setting on a washer. That's funny.
I know, and then you're like, well, that was kind of boring, and you're like, okay, there's definitely something wrong with me because
Where's the chaos?
yeah, I need it.
But it's like, yeah, but we don't want that, we don't want that. So yeah, I'm learning to like grow and like be like, okay,
Yeah.
this is different from the other times that I've tried to talk to people, and that's good.
Yeah, for
Because the
sure.
other times have not been good. Brianna, what's up, girl? Brianna, you should be on here with us. Brianna's getting married.
Well,
She's
congratulations.
Yes, she just got engaged. Very excited to the amazing Jared, who got her a beautiful engagement ring. Good job, Jared. Shout out Blacklist Podcast. Make sure you guys check them out. Okay, we're all moms. Let's talk about being like a mom and kind of like mom life. I have a 20-year-old. That
wow.
is challenging.
Boy or girl?
A boy.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's right now he's amazing. He cleaned up and he cooked dinner. And he took a shower today. He is gold stars all the way. Yes. So yes, having a grown child is very different. It's wonderful. Like, you think it's hard when they're small, or like when they are starting to get older, you might think like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna miss out, especially like if you had to be away from your child or whatever. But like, trust me, they will always need their mom in a capacity that you just
makes me feel better.
Oh, okay, you're not missing out on nothing. You'll just be like a mom from a different angle, like, because big kids, big problems, little kids, little problems.
That's true. I feel like you go through so many different phases in motherhood. Like, so I have 3 girls. I have a 12-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 6-year-old. So with my 2 girls, my older girls is getting weird. You know what I mean? Like, they're starting to get moody. They're giving me all the attitude, And when I was in, my program, I had to mend a lot of things, man, So one thing I do try, I feel like social media is such a huge hindrance on just the insecurities and the voice in my daughter's, my older daughter's heads. So what I've been doing with the girls is like taking them out to coffee. And I also have a niece that is 11 as well. So I like to take them all 3 out to coffee. And they just talk about feelings and anything that they want to talk about. It's a safe space. Like, and my 12-year-old is my stepdaughter. But that's something I've been doing because God really spoke to me about it. And it's been really healing for them just to hear what they feel, what are their fears, like what's going on in their lives. It's so crazy because it's almost the same as like a regular woman, like a grown woman almost. So I'm really trying to just communicate openly with them about what they're going through at least once a month. So they're not just staring at the social media, these women that are beautiful and this is the way you're supposed to be. I mean, middle school's hard, school is hard. And so that's one thing I'm really trying to implement in my older girls because life is just kind of crazy. The world's crazy. So I'm trying to give them a narrative. And I mean, I pray over them in the Holy Spirit. Like, I'm one of those moms, because
they wake up with anointing oil all over their face and
on
their pillow.
Like,
come on, girl.
But yeah, so that has been good. But woo, their attitude and their hormones are crazy. My 6-year-old's easy. She'll do whatever I say. So
right, yep. And Jennifer, yours are
15, 17, and 19.
Christ.
Whew, yes, it's getting better. You know, getting them back when I first moved in, you know, it wasn't easy. I mean,
Yeah.
we've had some rough patches here and there, but it gets better um, as we go. You know, and nothing's gonna be perfect. So
Absolutely. And keeping that open communication is so good.
Yeah.
Definitely. I try to do that with my son too, being raised in a house that was, not, we didn't really talk about things. Like we didn't talk about feelings. Like if you
Yeah.
cried, they'd be like, we'll give you something to cry about.
Right.
It's not like it wasn't
Hmm.
one of these like where you can actually like be open and honest and talk
I
about
think
things.
like
So
I have to like so we yell a lot instead of talking. So we still have work to do.
Yeah.
But
mhm.
I think that with time it'll start smoothing out. You
Yeah,
know,
for sure.
it's only been 8 months since I got out of recovery, and I'm sure they still maybe they still have their doubts that I may go back or something. You know, because it
Hmm.
took me a long time to get straight. So I
Mhm.
just have to be mindful of what they're feeling and what they're not open to discuss with me, and because they probably feeling things about things that they're not speaking to me about. So um, I just have to like give them their space and give it time and just pray.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But for the most part, I have some great kids compared to what I put them through and what they've been through. I can't
Hmm.
complain.
Kids are
Mhm.
resilient.
Yes.
Yes, they really are. And that's
Hmm.
crazy too because we think we get stuck in this like guilt and shame, right? And like being a
Oh, yes.
mom,
Oh yes.
that
Ah.
is the worst. That's the worst. Like so how did you guys like handle that, like getting through that guilt and shame?
So I still guilt parent just a little bit,
Yeah.
but like when if me and my kids get into like a disagreement and um, we're all starting to apologize really quick after things happen compared to not talking for weeks, which is great. So things are shifting very, very slowly. They're not holding grudges like they used to. And I like that part. Um, I don't know. It's just it's just a process.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Everything's and I have
Yeah.
to trust it. So.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think for me, like with my 11-year-old, had her when I was 18, so she's my baby, my big baby. But I definitely did the whole guilt, like I'd buy her whatever,
Mhm.
and just trying to make her happy, and I was getting more time with her. Like now she's with me on the weekend, which is great. um but like Jennifer said, it's more, communicating a lot more, doing more things, like taking her to tumbling. That might be a normal thing to a normal parent, but that's a big deal for me. You know what I mean? Just showing that I'm there for her goes, it's volumes for her. But with the whole guilt thing, I've kind of gotten out of that at this point now, because I realize like nothing that no matter how much stuff I bought her, no matter what we were doing, we could have a great day, she would still be upset about something. And partially it's because of, her age and everything that's going on. So I've learned that I spend quality time with her is more important than buying her stuff or trying to. It doesn't work like that. But there is no rule book for this. There's no rule book for, first of
Mhm.
all, a teenager when you are not someone in recovery, let alone someone that is becoming a teenager and you have recovered, are in recovery as a parent, and there has been some trauma along the way. I mean, it's just, I God, and praying goes a long way. Me and Zoe,
Mhm.
we talk about God, we pray together, so I think there are just some things that you can't do on your own, unfortunately. And you have to rely on that higher power to mend some things. And I think as time goes on, respect comes. And, everything will settle in the way that it's supposed to. So she loves me. I love her. All that matters. But with my other kids, River, it's a little different because she's older. I mean, I'm sorry, she's younger. So she's just happy that I'm here, and with Addison,
Right.
she has her mom. I'm her stepmom, but there was a lot of just having to show up for her. It just took time with her. And I mean, it's still a work in progress, like Jennifer said. So,
Mhm. Yeah, it does, like, restoring that stuff, those relationships and those hurts, and having them like trust you. But
trust.
they are like resilient, they're just like happy to have their mom back. Like they're just like
Yeah. And they don't care.
yes.
Can
The
I
love
say
is
something about
endless.
that? So I
Mhm.
think I have a strong belief. I can't prove it because I've never asked my kids, but I feel like my kids test me on purpose sometimes. They want to see if
Mm-hmm.
their mom's gonna go fail because they piss her off, or they're good if mom's gonna go out and get drunk or high because they done ruffled her feathers. And when I come right back stronger and more motivated, they smile in my face like, okay, she's
Mhm.
not,
Well,
she's not,
damn.
she didn't go get high.
Right.
Because that's what I used
Right.
to do when they would piss me off, or we would get into it a long
Yeah.
time ago. I would go get either more, yeah, I would go use, and I don't do that no more. So I think they're like testing me, like, let's see how strong she is,
Mhm.
and see how far we can push her. But everything that they're doing is making me stronger. It's not making me want to go back. So, you know.
Jennifer's like, okay, you want to be pissy? We're all gonna sit here together in your
Yeah.
pissiness. I'm not going nowhere.
Yeah. We're all gonna have the
We're gonna
pissy
do it.
faces. But I ain't gonna
Funny.
be high.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, yes. That's awesome. That's awesome. Um so hello Noodle Baker. It's ladies' night, but I'm no lady. That's okay. You can hang out with us. um when you went on the date, did you ask him if he had any addictions? I sure did. I asked him that before we went on the date.
That's
What
the
am I
first
dealing with here?
question.
What are we dealing with here? No, he was very nice. I'm gonna go out with him again. Yes,
Are
he
you?
was very nice. He's very nice. He smelled very good. He had nice cologne on. Yes. But let's see. So what else? So how do you ladies manage do you work, Savannah?
Yes, I do.
Do you
40
work in
hours.
recovery or no?
Do I work in recovery?
Yeah.
No, I work at a commercial roofing company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jennifer, you work in recovery, right? Or no?
No, no. So I tried it. It wasn't
You
really even
did?
recovery. It was like a mental health place, but
Mm-hmm.
I liked Mavis better. So I was trying the two job thing, and that two job thing wasn't for me. It was too much. So
It is because the balance. You have to
yeah,
have balance, right? Like balance
Mm-hmm.
for your like recovery, balance to be a mom, balance
yeah,
to be your own person.
yeah,
Like
Exactly.
yes, and it's really hard. I know I have a lot of jobs right now because I'm transitioning. So I have like one business, but I'm starting another business. So
Oh
I'm
wow.
like half and half in both businesses, which is more than full time. And it's really challenging. Like I find myself like really getting like pulled. And I actually so I was like doing service at a like a faith-based 12-step group, and I just kind of like told them like that today was my last day. Like I just couldn't because it was
out
like
of nowhere.
Well, you have to do
no,
what you have to do.
I told them I would be stay till August, and today is July 31st.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, I said what because I was just filling in for the summer till their people came back or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Um, but I wanted to stay because there was what I found in this place, which is really hard, which is why I was asking if you ladies worked in recovery, because it's not in my city. I live in Athens. It's like in the city next to us, which is a rural city that and the area is like a poverty area. So
Oh.
the women and the trauma was like so deep
Yeah.
that like
Crazy.
and it was like stuff that like, you know, I can't do anything about, you know what I mean? Like I
Right.
can't help, you know? And it was like making it so like I was like leaving these meetings and like coming home and I was just crying the whole way home because
Yeah.
of
You had all their crap on you.
because I had all the burdens and it just wasn't, you know what I mean? Because it wasn't fair, you know what I mean? Like the stuff they were
Yeah,
dealing
absolutely
with.
not. That would be
But
hard to listen to, like, every day. That has, like, mentally, you know what I mean? Like,
yes. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
I see
hard.
why the counselors put one client at a time. Like
Yeah.
throughout the days.
Yes, I mean it is a lot, especially because then it kind of re-triggers my trauma, right? So I'm like
yeah,
trying to respond from like a point of being, you know, an outsider, like just sharing space and sharing lived experience. But then there's
yeah,
also a part of me inside that's like that gets like re-traumatized hearing their trauma because of my trauma. You know what I mean? And it just got to be so much, and I already wasn't in a very well balanced place because I'm working so much that like I was
working,
like
yeah.
I just, you know, and my 20-year-old gives me a run for my money.
Yeah.
So yeah, between all that, like I was just like I just can't like right now, and that was like a lot for me because I've been like a person who's like a giver, right? So I'm like I'm gonna
Yeah.
give and I'm gonna serve and I'm gonna save the world, and I'm
Right.
like I'm drowning.
Mhm.
Yeah. So like
You
break
have been doing a
time.
lot, Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
You're deep in recovery. Like
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I love it. It's like my passion, you know what I mean? But it's but because of, you know, just all the hours I'm putting in. So I wasn't sure if you ladies had how to deal with that, you know what I mean? With like you were saying, Jennifer, about working in mental health and just like not, was it because of like the trauma?
no, it's just because I was just sleepy. I would
Oh.
look. I was. I couldn't. It made me sick. Like literally, like I was
Oh,
nauseous because I was so tired from getting off that job and going to that job. Like I literally did it for 2 nights, and I was like, yeah, this isn't for me.
yeah.
Like from 11 to 7:30, you have to be a certain kind of person. After working from 7:30
You do.
to 5 or 6, ain't no way I couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like
Yeah.
for me, so I, went to the extension and I was sponsoring, and I still sponsor. I have one sponsee, she's done the 12 steps, and I was really like hands on with her, like, and made sure that, she did all of her steps and she's doing great. But then I transitioned and I started going to school at night. You know what I mean? And sorry, my daughter's walking out. And so I started going to ultrasound school because that's what I wanted to do. Like, I'm like, I'm going back to school to get my degree. But I was also working 40 hours, and that's something I still do. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
What that thing was. But I'm a mom of 3. I go to school Monday through Wednesday at night, and I work 40 hours because it's something I have to do. I played enough when I was drunk, like sometimes we have to, but I was going to sponsor someone else, and I realized I could not give her the time. And it wasn't fair to her because for me in my recovery, I took the 12 steps very seriously. And I really think of the 12 steps as shadow work, really getting to know myself. So, and that was such a foundation to my recovery. It really was. It just led the whole pathway. And that's what I did for Sandy. But when I tried to sponsor someone else and I was doing all of that, I was like, there's no way that I'm going to be able to give you what you deserve. And that was sad for me because I want to help, as many people as I can to, with their recovery. But sometimes you have to take a step back, and you have to do what's best for your family, for yourself, because I am going to have a degree in a couple years and I'm going to be able to have more resources, in that time, when I graduate. So I think sometimes you have to kind of keep a mindset of, I got to do this. And because I played around for a lot of years and I'm really grateful for the extension and everything of that nature, I mean, step 12 is service work, right? So, but by being able to do this and, I still have my one sponsee, I do what I can. And I think that's important. You can only do what you can do. But
yeah, absolutely.
My journey right now with that topic. So.
And that's great that you're like, your boundaries and that you're like, you can explain it like that, because I feel so bad, because I'll be like, a lot, people ask me to like, sponsor or like coach them. And I'm just like, yeah, sure. Let me try. And I just like knowing like I really can't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, I'm trying to break that cycle of being like a yes person, and like just being like more honest about where I'm at with like my time and boundaries and things like that. So that's challenging for sure. So that's cool. You did 12 steps. I did 12 steps too. That was like my pathway. And yeah, I think shadow work for sure. Like
that's what I call
definitely,
it, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, and also like the 12 steps like led me to God, so
Absolutely.
I didn't have like really a relationship with Jesus. Like I knew like there was like a God, you know what I mean? And what it really broke down to is, I realized that I didn't know how God felt about me, and I was like,
that's powerful.
I was like, yeah, like I was like, oh, well, how am I supposed to turn my will and my life over to you? Like if I don't, know how you feel about me, and how can I trust you if I'm not sure that you're, you know what I mean? Like you really want the best for me. Like you say you want the best for me, but do you really? Because I have evidence that says that that was not the best for me. So how do I know it's going to be different this time?
Right.
So
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I feel like for me, the 12 steps, when you're in active addiction for however many years, you're in survival mode. Like so when you become sober, you don't know who you are. You know what I mean? And sometimes I feel like the 12 steps are kind of like looked at as like, it's like this checklist I have to do. Like a lot of people are like, I have a sponsor, got to do all these things. But to me, it really was life or death, in that situation. And I had no idea who I was, what I wanted to do, because when you're in addiction, you're someone else, not who you are. But when you're in it for so long, you're like, no, this is who I am. And it's a lie. It's a lie from, the enemy. And so you have to re-find yourself. And so to me, it felt like every step that I did was almost like I was getting a little bit closer to myself, and having everything just written out, like it's like a self inventory of, who hurt you, who did you hurt, your character defects. It's nice to see all that stuff. And, I know for me, I really digged, I was honest as I possibly could be, or could remember, because I did suffer from a lot of trauma. And so for me, the 12 steps just really was a solid foundation. And I was kind of in the same boat as you. Is I always believed in God. I grew up in a, Christian home. And I always would pray when I was drunk. I'm like, take it away, Jesus, take it away. There would be like old men in AA that would be like, yeah, you just took it away. I'm like, did it for me, man.
Yeah, it didn't work for me either.
No, Jesus is like, well, you're gonna have to work a little harder than that. But seriously, through the shadow work, though, he definitely exposed himself and opened doors for me. I mean, just things that I can't describe. I can't, just through my testimony, it shows. But that shadow work, those 12 steps are pivotal to my experience for recovery. So
Absolutely. Yeah. I always said, like, if everybody in the world worked a 12-step program, it would be
everyone,
a better place, because it
Yeah, you don't
really
even have to
is.
be an
I
addict. Just work
absolutely
it.
agree.
But yeah,
Everyone has regrets. Everyone has resentments. Everyone has character defects.
Everyone's
Everyone has
harmed
all
someone.
those things, you know? So it's, I don't know.
Absolutely. And the thing with me, with everything being written out, you know, because I was the same, like, dig deep. I mean, I think I did, because I did them a couple different ways, the steps, in a couple different fellowships, you know. And but my main fellowship, which was the you know, the the Bill's
Right.
friends, that was my main, and I did those like 4 times all the way through. I mean, 4, you know, because I was like set on, like, it was like the more of this stuff that I got out of me, the better I felt. I was like,
Right.
I feel great. And every time I made amends, like, it was like spiritual victories in heaven. It was like I could feel, like, I felt like angels were celebrating. You know what I mean? Like, when I made, even if they didn't forgive me, you know what I mean? They're like, yes,
Yeah,
you're
it
doing it.
Yeah.
like,
You
Clear
know?
your side of the street.
Yes, cleaning my side of the street, and then not having to carry like that, like, shame and guilt, and being able to see my patterns, you know, like, I also had like a pastor that kind of like walked alongside me, you know, and he would be like, you know, especially like in the relationship part, he would be like, change the name, change the face, same person. And I'm like,
funny.
how did that happen? You know, like,
Yeah.
so just being able to see my patterns of, like, oh, why do I keep doing this, you know?
Well, a lot of people don't
Definitely.
want to identify those issues, though. And that's what, you know, a lot of people struggle with, is because it's hard learning these things about yourself. And, you know, I think that's what a lot of people hold back. And it's like, you know, you're not hurting your sponsor's feelings. You're not hurting, you know, you're hurting yourself.
Yeah.
And it's a hard pill to swallow sometimes, to have to, but like, how bad do you want it? You know what I mean? Like, how, you know what I mean? Like, so I mean, I think it took me like 3 months to get over step 4, because I was like, I can't forget this person. Like, I can't do that, because I could not wrap my brain around it. You know what I mean? So it's like, how bad do you want it? How much do you want to dig? You know, because it does make a difference for sure.
And yeah, and I had a you know, a sponsor who was real, I mean, she was like real hardcore, you know what I mean? And I would be like, well,
Yeah.
this guy, you know, specifically with like stuff that happened, like SA stuff, you know what I mean? In my addiction, you know, when you're messed up and people, you know, whatever. And she was like, okay, like, yeah, that person, sure, but what was your part in it? Like, I just went to a dope house and expected them to be my friend. Like,
Right.
and I was just going to take their drugs for free because they should have given them to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, where was my, well, and, you know, well, you weren't being a very good friend, were you? Because you were trying to take advantage of people. You know what I'm saying? And it was like such a hard pill to swallow, like,
Yeah,
looking
they
at that,
do
like,
call you on their shit.
yes.
Bad.
Yes.
I'm like, damn,
Bad.
whose side are you on?
Yeah. And a lot of people can't handle it. They're like, you know, and some people reject it. You know what I mean? And so you just have to let them reject it, because if they're not open to hear it, then they're not open to hear it. You know? I don't know. That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard.
But the thing with me seeing even that I had a small part in it, it gave me the ability to like be able to forgive, because I was like, okay, it gave me like empathy. It almost like softened my pride. You know what I'm saying? Like, softened my pride, so that I was able to be like, okay, yeah, like, I guess I was like wrong in that also, you know? So, I feel like the steps are just magical. I always, you know, tell people, they should at least give it a shot for sure. And more than once, because going through those things, and as you change and grow, you have different, I mean, I could probably write you like a 5-star notebook of step 4 right now. I've done them in a couple of years, you know. I just celebrated 9 years
Oh,
Once
congratulations.
I
Congratulations,
stuck
Jen.
a needle in my arm, So it's
It's a big
been,
deal.
yeah. So, and I haven't done steps in like since 4 long-term relationships ago. So that means since before I was married. So
Right. Yeah, well,
yeah.
that's why I like having, a sponsee, because I can do the steps with them,
Right.
because we are changing. And just because I don't drink alcohol every day doesn't mean I can't do those 12 steps, like you were saying, so there's always growth.
Right.
I think the
And
hardest thing for
knowing,
me in recovery is practicing principles before personalities.
yes. I've been struggling with that too on some things, especially because people are so loud about their opinions, especially like on the internet,
Yeah.
and that's when I really have to bring in like my spirituality side, my biblical side, where like, God says like, look at everyone under the bloodshed of Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? Like, look at them through the lens of they're forgiven, they're broken people just like you know what I mean? And accepting people for like as they are, like looking at people and saying like, yeah, they have trauma too. Like they probably grew up with some crazy parents or like
Yeah.
some weird stuff happened. You know what I mean? So just like having like grace with people, knowing that everybody has like a past and everybody's been through things.
Yeah.
Is like really important. But I'm actually something I've really grown in, which I'm really excited about. Because I used to be really bad with like people pleasing, and if somebody didn't like me, and
Like, what can I do?
yeah, like or if I
that
was like
too.
in conflict with someone, like it would like just like give me anxiety, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And
Like that
something
too.
happened to me so recent. I mean, it's less than 6 months ago, where like one day literally I was just like, well, which one of my bills are they paying? Oh, none. I don't care. And I meant it. And I legit
Right.
like meant
And that's
it.
how you fixed it from then on.
Huh?
And that's how you fix it. Now, like that it
Yes.
worked.
Something just
Really?
clicked in my brain. I don't know. It's probably because I'm older, because I know like the older you get, like, because I just turned 44, right? So like now I'm like 44 now. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm almost 50 years old. You know what I mean? Like I don't, like nobody got time for that. I gotta go pay my rent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got a 20-year-old I gotta take care of. I don't have time for you.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know if it's because I've gotten older or yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it finally happened. Like finally, because that was like something that I mean it would keep me up at night, And now I'm just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, I
just
think
clicked one day.
there's a boundary with that too. It's like you can't be walked all over like that. I'm very like chill and nice, but I can, if I feel like I'm disrespected or something, it takes a lot, but you have to kind of stand up for yourself, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But in a way that's loving, if
Savannah
that
had the
makes sense.
best boundaries. Savannah has the best boundaries. Okay, the best
I do.
boundaries. Yes. She was like the strongest at the extension with me. She had the strongest boundaries.
Oh, thank you.
She would respectfully tell you no really easily. I'm like, damn,
Mm-hmm.
I
Well,
need to learn.
look, I had to learn that, I had to learn that, um, but like in with you saying that in my head, I'm like, oh my god, that was crazy. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's not right. So it's nice to hear that, but when it's your own self, you just, you don't think that way. So I don't know. It's hard. That's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is really hard, especially when you're like, a caring person, empathetic person, been through things, been
Yes.
blessed enough to be healed. Like you want to help people, you want to reach out, you want to do whatever you can, but sometimes you just gotta be like, I just no, like just
Yeah.
no. Like they would always say to me, like, Jamie, no is a complete sentence, and I'd be like, what does that mean?
No, and walk away.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
now
I
I'm
couldn't do
like,
that.
I'm finally grasping it in my old age. Um, We are not to be doormats. There is something to be said about doing good in spite of evil that wins. Yes. People pleasing is presented as a defect in 12 steps, but that's tricky. You know, my sponsor actually said that it wasn't called people pleasing. It was actually me pleasing because it was me caring about what people thought about me.
Ooh,
It wasn't
that's a
about
good
what,
one.
yeah. And I was just like, why is she always going to be turning it around on me?
Damn.
Yes. You can knock, but you can't kick the door down if they don't want to hear it. Yep. That's right.
You can lead the horse to water, can't make him drink. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So true. So true. Do you ladies have anything else? No pressing issues. Well, awesome. Well, thank you for hanging out. This was super fun, and we
Yes, it
will
was.
have to do it again. We'll have to do some. We'll have to write up like a list of questions, or maybe we can do like a game night or something. Something like that. Yeah,
Okay.
that'd be super fun. Where do you live, Savannah?
I live in Cumming, Georgia. Was I supposed to say that? Oh God, I hope.
So no, you're fine. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And okay, and I know where you live, Jennifer. So cool. Okay, we'll have to figure something out about doing like a in-person collab or something.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, we'll have to. Well, Savannah has little babies, so we'll have to just jump over her house.
Yeah,
we'll come to your house. We'll party at your house.
I'm so serious. You are more than welcome.
Awesome. Okay, cool. I'm going to end this live stream. You guys make sure you subscribe to Jamie Tall on YouTube. Noodle Baker, why are you saying to wait? Do you have a question? He said, wait.
He did. Wait.
The Noodle Baker.
Like, stop.
Who is going to win, Mike? Who is going to win, Mike Tyson or Jake Paul?
Mike Tyson.
Okay. You heard it from the experts.
Well, I wouldn't. I don't know about
I
that.
don't even know who that Paul guy is.
Jake Paul is very good, and he's. I don't know.
Okay.
I my money's on Mike though.
Mike he's a goat.
Yeah, I think Savannah's got a lot of faith in it. I believe her. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out. We will